Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. In this short one, I just wanted to discuss with you the things you need to look out for when you put down an offer to purchase on a rental property. Take note of that, on a rental property. If this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure that you discuss with me as we go on the comment section. But importantly, make sure you engage with the content. Guys, this is so funny, right? This is so funny. A lot of us have already heard about this whole thing about property being an investment, a property or a house being an asset and all of that. And this is so, this is so funny, right? Um, People will tell you that, you know what, get a house, get a property, that's an investment, man. If you have a house, if you have a property, that's an investment. So if there is a way that you can get a bond, just take up the bond. It is an investment. The next thing you know, that thing is chowing from your pocket from day one. The next thing you know, you've got your tenants in, your tenants are paying on time, your tenants are paying everything to you, but on a month-to-month basis, this thing is chowing from your pocket. So what is it that people are doing wrong? That's exactly what we're going to be discussing in this video today, to look at what exactly is it that you need to look at before you put down an offer to purchase a property. That's even before you purchase the property, before you put down the offer, the things that you need to look at. Those are the things we're going to be doing, we're going to be discussing today. So the first thing is that before we get into the technicalities and the numbers and the calculations that I want us to do today, the first thing, let's look at the process of you looking for a property. One, you need to decide what you want to do with the property. So you've heard someone say, get a property, rent it out, and you're going to make money. That's not always the case, because you tend to miss the numbers in terms of the calculations to make sure that the property you are purchasing is actually going to put money into your pocket, that the property is actually going to bring, the yield that you are looking at. It then becomes an asset, because if it's taking money from you, then it becomes a liability. So there are things that you need to look at. The first thing is that you need to ensure that the property that you are looking for, it is in a location that is suitable, and people can actually rent at that particular property, at that particular location. It's closer to local amenities, and it's closer to things that people, will find convenient. It's closer to taxi ranks if you are in the township and you are in that space of dealing with people that are living within the township space. It's closer to taxi ranks. It's closer to malls and shopping complexes. It's closer to where people actually can live and play. And if it's the in education, it's closer to schools. It's closer to universities, because some colleges are in the townships and all of that. So those are the type of minor things you need to look at to ensure that you give your tenants convenience, because most of what we do is mostly about convenience, giving people convenience and making sure that they have a suitable place to live in. But that's just the first part of it. The second part of it is the calculation part of things. So what we're going to be discussing later on in the video is how to calculate a gross yield, a gross rental yield, and a net rental yield, and also look into an ROI. Those are very important things. Those are very critical calculations you need to make prior to putting down an offer to purchase a rental property. So now that you've done the first part of the due diligence in terms of finding out more about the location and all its amenities and its potential, now it's time to find out the purchase price of the property in that location, and also the rental amount that people are paying on a monthly basis. You can find that out by going to the Property 24 platform, or also going to the private property platform. It's important that you know what is the average purchase price, or if it's not on average, what is the purchase price of the property that you are looking for, and also what amount are people paying on a monthly basis in terms of rent. You can find that out on the Property 24 or on a private property. Let's find that out. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to Property 24 and we're going to search for the location that we are fascinated by. And we're just going to pick the first house we find on top, and this one goes for 975,000 rand. As soon as we've gotten to it, we are now going to pick just two numbers. The first one is the purchase price, which is 975,000 rand, and we are going to also look for the monthly repayment amount, which is 8,616. And then lastly, we are going to look for the rates and taxes, which is 800 rand. Now, let's head over to the rental parts of the location to see how much are people paying on rental on a monthly basis. On average, people are paying anything from 10.5 thousand rand. We are seeing 9,000 rand, 7.5, 7,000, 8,000, 6,000, 6.9, which is like 7,000, 8.5, 8,000 rand. So for the purpose of this video, let's take the highest amount people are paying on rent, which is 10.5. Let's go with 10.5 and do the calculations. So firstly, let's define what a gross rental yield is, so that as we move along and explain the calculation and also its importance, you also get to understand why you need to look into a gross rental yield prior to putting down an offer to purchase a rental property. So a gross rental yield, it is the annual income of a property as a percentage of the purchase price. You probably don't understand that, but this is the monthly income of a property multiplied by 12 months, and then you divide that by the purchase price, and to get the percentage of the gross rental yield, you multiply that by 100. So let's do the calculations. Now multiply the 10.5 by 12 months and you'll get the annual rental income of 126,000 rand. Now you divide that by the purchase price, which is 975,000 rand, and you multiply that by 100, you will get the 12.5%, which is called a gross rental yield. Now, that is a gross rental yield. Unfortunately, it doesn't take into account the expenses and the cost of the property on a monthly basis. Now, we need to calculate the net rental yield. And to calculate that, we need to deduct all the costs, all the expenses from the income of the property. So let's do the net rental yield calculations. So we already know the purchase price of the property, the annual rental income. We also know the monthly rental income, 10,500 rand. Now we need to look what are the expenses on the property. It's the bond repayment, the insurance, the rates and taxes, repairs of 5%, letting agent of 10%. Now when you add that together, you are getting a total expenses of 11,591 rand. Now that's a lot of money compared to what you are getting on a monthly basis. Now the total net income is a minus 1,091 rand. This is money you need to cough out from your pocket on a monthly basis. Now let's calculate the net rental yield. To calculate this, we are going to multiply the net income of minus 1,091 rand. We'll multiply it by 12 and it's giving us minus 13,092. You divide that by the purchase price of the property and you multiply that by 100. Then it gives you a percentage. So from these calculations alone, you can already tell that this person is about to collect a liability instead of an asset. Now, if you want to be successful in real estate, you need to focus more on getting more assets than liabilities. Assets, they put money into your pocket. Liabilities, they take money from your pocket, like this property is about to do if this person goes ahead. Now, what are the things that you need to do to ensure that you don't make the mistakes of collecting liabilities thinking it's an asset, it's an investment just because it's a property? The first thing is you need to go to the seller of the property, go to the real estate agent of the property and negotiate the price to be a little bit lower. So instead of the 975,000 rand, you can negotiate maybe a 900,000 rand purchase price. If that makes business sense to you, then you can go and negotiate for the price to be lowered. But you can only do that if you've done the calculations on the gross rental yield and also on the net rental yield. And if it makes sense and it gives you a percentage of an amount that will come into your pocket on a monthly basis, then you need to go ahead and put down the offer they cannot refuse. The second part of it is that if you see the potential of the property, it's closer to local amenities that brings convenience to your tenants. It plays right into what you are trying to do in the real estate space. Then you can look into taking the property at its current price, or if you can negotiate it a little bit lower, take the property and add in some features that make the property look a little bit more premium, so that you can then start charging your tenants a little bit more money on top of the 10,000 rand that we've just calculated, the 10.5 thousand rand. You can now start charging people 11,000, 12,000, 13,000 or even 15,000 rand on the property, depending on the features that you've added into the property to make it look more premium and more convincing when you put the price to be a little bit higher. Now, thank you very much for watching the video. Please do hit the subscribe button. Please do hit the like button, because the algorithm of YouTube likes it when you guys hit the like button. Please do hit the like button, but more importantly, the subscribe button. Please do hit those buttons. But let's engage also on the content. You can do that either here by hitting the comment section and let's talk, man. Just put down a comment and let's engage on the content. But alternatively, we can engage on Twitter. I'm at Lindo_Mnisi. On Instagram, it's Lindo_Mnisi as well. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Let's see each other on the next video. For now, cheers, guys.